All right, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to get into your Bears mailbag. Hashtag Bears to get your questions answered on the show. You can super chat as well. My name is Harrison Graham. I did want to get into this story real quick first, though. Bleacher Report named Jaquan Brisker a potential contract extension candidate before week 1, and I just had a few thoughts on it. I'll get to the quote from Mo Mouton first here, the writer of this article. He said, the Bears may have offered Brisker an extension if he continued to perform at a high level for the 2024 campaign. I think that's true. But he suffered a season-ending concussion in week 5. The Bears can offer him a new deal with the anticipation that he continues to perform optimally as their long-term starter at safety. And I think the first part of this is right. I think with how he played the first 2 years and the trajectory he was on last year, I think, like Kyler Gordon, he would have been in line to get an extension. But when you have a concussion, not your first in the NFL, and you miss the final 12 games of the season, you have to play this year out. It's just way too risky. Now, if he came to you with his agent and was like, hey, I'll take a 1-year extension for $5 million, I'd probably take that gamble, because if he's healthy this year and plays well, then all of a sudden you have a really good young safety for like no fucking money. Like, yeah, okay, I would do that. I don't think Brisker's doing that, though. So I think both sides understand that you're going to play this year out. If he could stay healthy and performs well, okay, like he could get a deal. He could return. But if he doesn't, and if injuries are a problem, he's probably going to walk and play somewhere else. So I think it's too risky to go that route unless it's super team-friendly on a 1-year extension. But even then, like, it would have to be pretty cheap. And I love Jaquan Brisker. I hope he's healthy this year. I hope it works out. The vibes seem good around him coming out of OTAs, but you miss 12 games. Like, that's a lot for a concussion. And you just wonder with this play style, if he has another concussion, how long is he going to miss? Is it going to be just a couple weeks, or is he going to miss 2 months again? I don't know. So I'm playing this year out. I hope he stays healthy because I do think he's a game-changing player. Would you extend Jaquan Brisker before the season? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Again, I don't see how you can, but you give me your thoughts down in the comment section. All right, mailbag time here. Dennis, appreciate the super chat. Hot take, Ozzy Trapilo will be our best pick from the 25 class. I'll call that a mild take. I think it's possible. I mean, look, his position is super valuable. Offensive tackle, especially if he's going to play on the left side, which it appears he's in the mix to be that starting left tackle. Look, if he wins that job and he becomes a better player than Braxton Jones and is, I don't know, even just like a top 15 left tackle, gets a second contract, certainly a possibility. If you drafted a 10-year left tackle here, like, yeah, that's a home run of a pick in the second round. So, if he became that, Colston Loveland would have to be, a top 6 or 7 tight end to be more valuable, just because the position value. Left tackle is more valuable than tight end. So certainly a possibility. Now, the hit rate of offensive tackles after the first round declines exponentially. So we got to see if he's able to do that, but certainly has an opportunity and could earn that opportunity as soon as this year. So excited to see what he can do. Okay, Lucas, appreciate the question here. He says, looks like the Bears might be in a difficult spot with salary cap room next year. Who could we cut to make room? Edmonds, Swift, Kmet, DJ Moore trade. Let's see. Bears 2026 cap space, because I actually think they're in a pretty healthy spot still. Obviously not quite what they were before. Let's see. Yeah, there actually isn't as much as I thought. It's not like it's been. But to your point, you can cut Tremaine Edmonds. That would save, let's see, next year it would save you like $13 million, $15 million actually, to be exact. You could cut or trade Cole Kmet, which would save close to $10 million. Another one, if he doesn't have a good year this year, DeAndre Swift, if you cut him, that saves almost $8 million. So you look along the board here, you could save $30 million pretty easily depending on what happens this year. But ideally, all these guys are good, and you just kind of have your core in place. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not worried about next year right now, but yeah, we'll see. And obviously, DJ's a wild card. If he has a big year this year, he'll be here. If not, he could be a candidate to trade as well. Where's Nestle? Are either of you guys worried about Montez Sweat? I don't think worry's the right word. I I feel good that he'll be good. Is he going to live up to that contract? I think that's the question. He's making $24 million per year. Left side of that screen, he lived up to that player. Came in, thought he took Matt Eberflus's defense from above average to really good in that 2023 season. I won't say great, but really good. And last year, he just did not replicate that. He was playing through a foot injury for a lot of the year. I do think that played a role in his decline in production, but he's just got to be better. He just has to be better than what he was last year. Last year, he played like kind of a low-level starter. Still solid, but not great. Year before, he was probably the best year of his career. He's got to get closer to 2023 version than 2024. If he's closer to that, then that'll be great. If not, that's obviously not ideal. But I think the floor of Montez Sweat we saw last year. I don't think he would get worse than that. So I feel good about him. But do I feel awesome about him? Probably not. Like, he's got to be significantly better in 2025. If you want to join the Bears Now family, hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free. We don't charge a dime, and we rock with videos every single day. So hit that subscribe button. Jacob, if Bears are wild card exits, do you think Caleb Downs could fall to the Bears in the late teens? So, like, if they lose first round and they have, like, the 19th pick, I don't think so. I know he plays safety, but I think if he falls that far, that probably means he had a slightly down year this year. I think he's pretty freaking special, man. You could argue he's the best player in college football. Ohio State probably has the two best players with him and Jeremiah Smith. If he's just the same from what he's been his first 2 years, I think he's a top 10 lock, potentially a top 5 pick next year as a safety. I think he's that good. So I think there'd have to be like an injury, or he regresses a little bit and slides a bit and causes a team to pick him later. But I don't care about his position value of a safety. He's a difference maker. I mean, like, you think about what Kyle Hamilton has done for the Ravens. I think this guy so far through 2 years is a better prospect than Hamilton was. Robert D., what is happening with Trey Hendrickson trade? Any news on the edge rusher? Nothing really new. I mean, I don't know if we'll hear anything new until training camp. My guess is training camp gets here, he doesn't report, and then we'll see what the reporting from insiders are at that point. He's made it clear he's not going to play on his current contract. I don't see why he would change his mind on that. He's grossly underpaid based on the market. So I think he doesn't show up. This thing drags into training camp, and one of three things happens. One, they bend the knee and they pay him. Two, he sits out week 1, and then the pressure really ramps up. They either cut or trade him, or they just trade him before then. They decide, we don't want this drama. We're just going to move on from him. Do the Bears get in on that? I don't know. I'm open to it. I think he'd be really good on this team. I understand you'd have to give up somewhat notable capital and then pay him big money. I think if you do that, if you're the Bears, you have to feel really good about Caleb in the offense, because they did that with Khalil Mack, and Mitch wasn't the guy. And ultimately, while Mack had a good stretch and good career here, if you don't have the right quarterback, you probably shouldn't make that move. If they feel good about Caleb being that guy, then that's the type of calculated swing you take. So my guess is they won't, and they'll play this out. But Cincinnati's been cheap, so I don't know what they'll do, but I don't think the Bears will end up trading for him, although I'd be open to it. All right, guys, what's your favorite pizza joint in Chicago? Are you a Gio's guy, Lou Malnati's? Where's your go-to? I want to hear from Bears fans in the comment section. All right, DC Viper, which matchup outside the North do you see as a potential rivalry series? I think Bears-Commanders has a lot of potential, right? I mean, obviously a long way to go, but you think of over the years in the AFC, there's been a lot of these, right? Peyton and Brady, Allen and Mahomes, Lamar and Mahomes, Lamar and Burrow, that same division. But you get my point. There's been rivalries, especially among quarterbacks, that have existed even if they weren't in the same division, right? I think Caleb and Jaden, Bears-Commanders, has a chance to be that. I think that, especially just perfect storm, right? And the NFL they're already leaning into this. They put that in a prime afternoon slot last year. The game went the way it did. It launched the Commanders into having this great year. It completely derailed the Bears. And now they're leaning into it again. Monday Night Football in Week 6. So I think that would be the one that you would point to that could be the next rivalry for the Bears, like a new rivalry. Lacora, what are your midseason target trades to buy and sell in 2025? I mean, does Hendrickson become more of a trade deadline guy where he reluctantly plays or he doesn't show up and the Bengals trade him later and they get less for him because he's missed the first month or whatever? Could that be the case? Could a good running back on a bad team, like I'll throw a name out there. If the Colts stink, would they trade Jonathan Taylor at the deadline? Because I think they'd be crazy to do it going into the year because Shane Steichen needs to win this year. But if they're like 2-5, 2-6, and they got no shot at winning, and a team offered a day 2 pick for Jonathan Taylor, I would think that would be pretty appealing for the Colts because you just kind of hit the reset button. So he's a guy that could be interesting. Like, you think of the Niners trading for McCaffrey a few years ago. No one really saw that coming. And you're like, man, this is kind of bold for both sides. And it helped launch San Francisco into being from a good team to a great team. So, maybe the Bears are kind of lurking as like a 5-3 team. They go trade for Jonathan Taylor, and all of a sudden they're a contender. So he's a guy I would keep an eye on for a team that potentially could go south this year. All right, appreciate all of your questions. If you got more, you know where to find me. Social media, at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, handles right there. DMs are wide open, so fire away. Always down to talk some Bears football.